Welcome to Rise Untold, where the stories behind the spotlight come alive. It began with a mother, a 6-year-old boy, and a trip to a shopping mall. Nothing unusual, nothing alarming, just a simple afternoon in Hollywood, Florida. But what happened that day would shatter the idea of safe for an entire nation. His name was Adam Walsh, and his story wouldn't just end in tragedy. It would launch one of the most powerful movements in American history. It would create a show that helped bring over 1,000 fugitives to justice, and it would forever change what it means to protect our children. This is the story behind the murder that gave birth to America's Most Wanted. It was July 27, 1981. Adam was with his mother, Reve, shopping inside a Sears department store. She left him for just a moment, watching older boys play a video game. When she returned, Adam was gone. In those few minutes, the unthinkable had already happened. At first, the store thought he was just lost, maybe wandered into another aisle. But soon, the fear turned into panic. They searched the mall. They called his name. They called the police. But Adam had vanished. What followed was every parent's worst nightmare. A massive search effort. Helicopters, posters, pleas on national television. 16 days passed. And then came the call. 2 fishermen had discovered a child's severed head floating in a canal over 100 miles away. It was Adam. His body was never found. And his killer? Unknown. There was grief, rage, and silence from a justice system that didn't know what to do. But Adam's father, John Walsh, wasn't going to wait for answers. He took his pain and turned it into purpose. He spoke to media, demanded change, and stood in front of cameras not as a celebrity, but as a father. He didn't want other parents to go through what his family had endured. And in that heartbreak, something powerful began to form. In 1984, John and his wife Reve helped establish the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, a national hotline, a rapid response team, a lifeline for terrified families. But John wanted to do more. He believed criminals were hiding in plain sight, and the public could help find them. He proposed something radical for the time: a television show about real crimes, real fugitives, and real leads. People said no one would watch it, that it was too dark, too upsetting. But in 1988, America's Most Wanted hit the airwaves. Hosted by John Walsh himself, it didn't just get views, it made history. The show led to the capture of over 1,200 fugitives, murderers, kidnappers, rapists, people who would have remained hidden if not for the camera. It became one of the longest-running reality crime shows in television history. But behind every episode, every arrest, every story, was Adam, the little boy who never got to grow up, the son who was supposed to come home that day, the face that turned a broken father into a national force for justice. Over the years, suspicion centered on a man named Otis Toole, a convicted serial killer who confessed to Adam's murder, but later recanted, and then confessed again. Evidence was limited. The investigation, flawed. Toole died in prison in 1996. It wasn't until 2008, nearly 3 decades later, that police officially closed the case, naming Otis Toole as Adam's killer. But no trial, no justice in court, only a bitter kind of closure. Still, John Walsh never stopped. He became the face of accountability, the voice for victims, and the reason so many children today come home. His life became a testament to something powerful, that even the most unbearable pain can become a mission, that one tragedy can become a turning point, and that sometimes justice doesn't begin in a courtroom. It begins with a parent's refusal to stay silent. Adam Walsh never made it past 6 years old, but because of him, thousands did. This is not just a murder story, it's the story of what one family did with their grief, and how their fight turned sorrow into strength. How one show, America's Most Wanted, became a weapon against injustice, and how Adam's name still lives on in every child saved. Because sometimes heroes aren't the ones who survive. Sometimes they're the ones we never got to save. And even in their silence, they still change the world. This is Rise Untold. And if one shattered father could take the darkest chapter of his life and turn it into hope for millions, then maybe, just maybe, you can too.